Section 1. You will hear a young woman phoning a friend who works for an airline to ask for advice about getting a job. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5 on page 2. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello?
Oh, hello. This is Ellie Fisher. We were at school together.
Oh, hi Ellie. How are you? What are you doing these days?
Well, actually, I'm looking for a job, and I was wondering about applying to an airline. You know, looking after the passengers. And I heard you're doing something like that.
Yeah, I'm working as a cabin crew attendant.
Right. So what does that involve?
Well, you might have to give them the initial safety demonstration before takeoff, for example. You've probably seen that when you've made a journey by air.
Actually, I've never flown, but I'd love to. That's why I'd like a job with an airline.
Oh, right. And during the flight, you'd also be going round to see if anyone wants to buy anything.
So I'd be dealing with money?
That's right. You'd be responsible for that. And then, of course, you'd be serving meals and snacks and things.
OK. So can anyone apply?
Well, there are certain requirements. You must be at least 19 years old, and there's also a minimum height, that's 168 centimetres. That's to make sure you can reach the higher cupboards in the plane.
Right. I'm 169 centimetres, I think. What about qualifications?
You need to show that you have a good level of English, that's written and spoken, and also maths.
OK. Well, I passed my exams in both those subjects, fortunately.
And it's an advantage if you can speak another language, although for cabin crew it's not essential.
I can speak Spanish. I did that at school until I was 16.
Excellent. That'll be very useful.
And I'm pretty fit. I don't have any medical problems.
OK. Oh, and can you swim?
Yes.
Good, because that's another requirement.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10 on page 2. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, if you're accepted, you'll get a 6-week training course.
Right.
So that'll cover all aspects of the job, all the basic things you need to know, and then some special things, like what action to take if a passenger suddenly has some sort of illness while you're in the air, for example.
Right. I suppose you can't always count on a doctor being on board.
No. And then you'll have to do a lot of work during the training on becoming aware of the variety of cultures that your passengers may come from and the implications of that. That's really interesting, actually.
OK. Well, I'd definitely like to apply. What airline do you actually work for?
It's a small airline called Eurontas. That's EURONTAS.
Is that N or M in the middle?
N for November.
OK.
They're good people to work for. Have a look at their website. You can download the application form from there.
Right. I don't have much in the way of experience, though.
Well, what have you done since leaving school?
I worked in a supermarket for a bit, on the information desk. I was helping deal with queries from customers.
OK, put that down. That's one of the most important aspects of the job, in fact.
Oh, right. And last year, I also did some voluntary work as part of a team. Should I put that down too?
Of course. That's something else they'll be looking for, being able to work with others.
Right.
And a lot of airlines expect you to pay for your own uniform, but the good thing about this airline is that they provide it for you.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Greg.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.